part in-person and part technology. They did daily webinars. So the webinars would be at noon every day. There would be a different topic, from working with SBA to what do you do with damaged inventory, to those topics that small business wanted. And then they started them at night as well. They hosted a series of meetings, and then they just did the one-on-one counseling with them. So that was the type of assistance to reach as many of those individuals as we could. And we also connected other service providers. We had someone from every SBDC state office in the state of Iowa come to our area in Parkersburg and New Hartford first, because that was before all the floods happened. And we had somebody from the entire state. We rallied as many resources as we could into our part of the state, which were no cost to the small business person. And we kind of led that effort.
Is My Internet unique to your area?
My Internet was a program that was created because we found we couldn't serve remote rural areas the same way we serve a Cedar Rapids, a Waterloo, or a Des Moines. And we needed to be able to reach out to those rural communities and provide them the same level of business counseling, guidance, and also to help create a supportive structure for entrepreneurship. And My Internet does that. It creates a system in a community. Elkader has that type of system where they have a supportive structure for entrepreneurs. They match them with the capital. They also put them together with the resources they need, and then it's a networking, so that it's entrepreneurs working with entrepreneurs. So it's much more than just an online program. It's a combination of a complete structure. If you think of it, it's a connector. It connects the entrepreneur to what they need, or to the expertise, or to the type of capital they need.
I would think you didn't develop that for a disaster.
No, we developed that in 2003 just because of remote rural areas not being served.
Is that something you're willing to share, or have thought about sharing with the rest of America? It sounds like it worked beautifully.
We just presented at the American Small Business Development Council, National Small Business Development Council, I believe it was 2 weeks ago in Chicago at their national conference. So that's been spread around the country. It's in 14 counties, formerly in Iowa, and with the disasters, we think the next thing that should happen is there are 35 counties in the state of Iowa that have businesses, at least 1,000, or at least 80% of their businesses are less than 10 employees. We should get My Internet into those counties as quickly as we can.
How do we do that?
It just needs some resources, and it doesn't, because it's so efficient, we would put these into pods of 6. So a pod of 6 counties would get one staff person, and they could manage 6 counties and run a My Internet system. So you could do this with 3, 4, 5 people, and with what we have right now, and really have an effective system to meet the needs of many entrepreneurs around the state.
How did that program work with SBA and FEMA and other government agencies? Were you able to pull them in and make them part of the program?
SBA was very cooperative. They learned right away what the resource was. They provided, they were very good collaborators. They tried hard. They were good people. The problem was, once again, it was their product. The staff members that were on the ground didn't have much choice in offering any other alternative products.
Was the university affected by the floods?
Not our university. The University of Iowa was severely impacted by the floods. We were quite fortunate.
You're far enough away that
we were high enough ground. We're the highest point in Blackhawk County.
Okay. One thing that I've heard through all the testimony is you needed cash and you needed it quickly. One of the things that was included in the Farm Bill was $25,000. And that was in the recent changes. The disaster loan program provides businesses with an opportunity to quickly obtain immediate loan of $25,000. Would that have helped many of the small businesses affected by your area? If it had been available, it wasn't available during the floods, but it happened fairly quickly after. Would that have been helpful?
Yes.
Definitely.
Well, that's something that'll be there available for you next time. Thank you, and I go back.
Thank you. At this time, I would recognize Congressman Loebsack.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thanks again for doing this. It's been very helpful for me to listen to these stories, and of course, I've been listening to a lot of stories since June, as you might imagine, in the 2nd District of Iowa, Mike's and many others. I'm just going to say thank you and ask you if you want to say anything more, but before I do that, I just want to mention, Mr. Pilkington, I really appreciate those 3 points that you made. It kind of, for me, does summarize all the things that I've been hearing from so many business owners, small business owners, since the flooding began. So I really appreciate the way that you've put it into those 3 points, the non-collateralized forgivable capital, technical assistance. I think a one-on-one idea is probably great for homeowners too, obviously, who get passed around from one person to another. And it's not that the individuals doing those jobs aren't doing great jobs, but the individual who gets passed around really needs, I think, that one-on-one assistance. It's difficult to do that, there's no doubt about it. It takes a lot of resources, but I think it's important. And then just acknowledging that these businesses are valuable and that the owners are valuable. As Congressman Braley said, in so many of these small towns, especially the convenience stores, I mean, they're the only store in town, the only game in town, if you will, in that sense. And, we live in Mount Vernon, and Gary's is the grocery store there, and it's absolutely fantastic that it's there and it serves the community. And of course, the other point that you made, Mr. Pilkington, about other businesses, some businesses have actually thrived, as we know, in the rebuilding process, right? Some workers have thrived in the building construction trades, for example, because their labor, their services are in high demand now, but many, of course, have not. Many businesses have not, because in some places there's almost been a recession, if you will, as a result of the floods. And so I think we have to really keep in mind those other businesses that have suffered beyond those that were directly affected by the flooding. I admire what you folks on the panel have done. I don't know that I could have done the same thing had I been struck by such a disaster. The worst thing that happened to us is that we had basement flooding related to groundwater, and I had to rip up 2 carpets from the basement and take them out to the curb. That's nothing compared to what people in these towns went through themselves. But I'm happy to be a proud original co-sponsor of the Braley-King bill too. I think it's a great idea to try to deal with some of these problems. And I want to thank also the Chamber in Cedar Rapids for doing what they're doing to help people like Mike with that $20,000 or so. A lot of the folks in these communities have stepped forward, but as I keep saying, for all the things that we're doing for ourselves, we continue to need help from the federal government, and that's why we're doing this today. So I just want to open up, I know that Congressman Braley and Congressman Davis, they have a lot of expertise in this area, and they've asked great questions, but no offense to my colleagues, but sometimes we on these panels don't ask all the questions that need to be asked, therefore you don't have an opportunity to say what you might want to say. So is there anything else that you want to say that hasn't been elicited by questions? Yes, sir.
Just one thing, or maybe 2. Well, first of all, it's not over. Mm-hmm. We've gone through the shock, and we've gone through the short term, but I'm very concerned about long-term recovery.
Right.
We have a lot of small businesses who are struggling and are trying very hard to make it. So we can't turn our back on them. They need immediate, continued assistance. So long-term recovery is really the key. Right. And the second part is to consider more of a case management approach. Rather than getting a different person at SBA or FEMA, if we could have more of a case management approach. You wouldn't see a different banker every time you went in.
Right.
And I think we need to take a look at the way that assistance is provided.
Thank you. Any others like to say anything?
I think I would just dovetail a little bit of what you said, because he had mentioned that their business was up. Well, since the flood, we've not had 1 week that we've been up. Mm-hmm. And I do wonder what it's going to be like coming into the holiday season when you've got that many homes down there that don't have windows and doors, and what is it? We could potentially have it worse. Mm-hmm. I mean, we've sit here and said, yeah, it was a mess to clean up from the flood, but if we have a few homes down there that people want to live there, and then it's right next door to some place that looks really tacky, that's not going to be a draw for our community. Mm. Our community is a very historic place. It's got a lot of places on the National Register. and it's been a great destination for campers. We've got 2 good campgrounds, and the people that I've talked to virtually unanimously want to restore it to the way Elkader was. You know, get it back up and going the way that it was. And we do need some economic stimulus, you know, to get that jump start going. You know, use the paddles on us a little bit right away, because we want to keep beating, you know? It's not that we want to stay on life